Curtis is ready. Looks like Curtis is ready. It is 6 o'clock, so we'll call our meeting to order. First up, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda for this evening? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion to support. Comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried with the agenda. Thank you. Roll call, has it been taken?
All set.
Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance would be next. If everyone will please rise and join us in the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Well, now we'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the December 9, 2025 regular meeting minutes.
Move approval.
And a motion and support. All those in favor, are there any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Meeting over.
I saw something going out.
I was like, God.
You almost turned around, huh?
No, I didn't. I wouldn't.
Well, welcome anyway.
Thank you.
Like your Christmas sweater.
Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, we will move down now to, we passed that, didn't we?
We did.
Minutes? Okay.
Yes.
Moving down to our hearings. First, we're to hold a public hearing at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the agenda allows, which is to consider a final special assessment district number 3 of 2024 for the construction of sanitary service leads on Richmond Street.
Move to open the hearing.
Okay,
You guys. Support.
got it? Motion support, comments, or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried, we have a hearing. Looks like Dave's taking the lead. Go Dave.
Hello everyone, Public Services Director David Ringel. Here tonight to talk about, very thankfully talk about Special Assessment District for Sanitary Sewers for our street reconstruction programs from this year. These are the final 2 that we had for construction that happened this year, other than Pine Avenue, which is still forthcoming. But first one we'll talk about tonight is for Richmond Avenue. This is for, if anybody remembers, those at home watching, this is for the sanitary sewer laterals that were replaced in conjunction with the street project with the sanitary mains. As a reminder, anything that is not structurally sound plastic, the city replaces and pays for 50% of the total amount of lateral pipe that's installed into the ground. The property owner pays the other half. Anything that is structurally sound plastic, we just connect to the new main and go on, and nobody receives an invoice for that. As a reminder, these are our bid prices from the contractor. The prices include an 8x6 wide, 6-inch sanitary service pipe, which is paid per lineal foot, and the sanitary cleanout, which is one for each house if there isn't structurally sound plastic. Those would all be a part of the SAD if the sewers were replaced. This is the estimated amount, which is 22 feet. This is an estimate that we do based on the plan view of where the sanitary is. This one was in the center of the road, so we just basically go from just outside of the road influence to the sanitary main, and that's how we come up with that initial 22 feet that we anticipate. And then attached to that sheet shows our final amounts that were put in. You'll see houses that have 0, and as mentioned, those houses had structurally sound plastic, or they did not connect to the sanitary sewer on Pine Avenue, or not, excuse me, Pine Avenue, Richmond Avenue. They could have gone to a side street if they're on a corner. So, don't know if I mentioned it, but we put everybody that could potentially be connected to the sanitary sewer on Richmond, and if they're not, we can always remove them from the SAD district. So that explains the zeros, and the footages are what was placed in the ground. As a reminder, some of those fluctuate, whether we run into, maybe there's plastic that's in the property line on the outside of the street influence, or we go a little bit further than our estimated amount because we're going to the next joint or the next piece of good condition pipe. We don't want to connect anything that's broken, cracked, dilapidated, anything of that nature. So with that, are there any questions?
Okay. Who has the first question? I see no questions. Are there any members of the public that have questions?
There was one beforehand, but I think I addressed your questions before we had the meetings.
see no members of the public, so we'd entertain a motion to close this hearing.
Move to close the hearing.
Support.
We have motion support. Last chance for comments or questions. Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. The hearing is closed. Thank you. Next, we will consider a resolution to approve the final special assessment district roll number 3 of 2024 for construction of sanitary sewer service leads on Richmond Street.
Move to adopt.
Support.
But I'm going to move to adopt. This is where we do the 5 years at 4.5%.
4.71 today.
4.71 on a balance due as of 6/1/26.
That's correct.
That's my motion.
So I will support that detailed motion. Thank you.
Okay. Comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you. Next, we are to hold a public hearing at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the agenda allows to consider the final special assessment district number 6 of 2024 for construction of sanitary sewer service leads on Rosedale Street.
They are tricky.
That's a tough one tonight.
It is. I had to stop and enunciate it very clearly.
I think I need to slow down, don't I? Thank you, Roxanne, for the tip. Does anybody want to open the hearing?
Sorry.
Yeah, move or support, whatever you need to do. Yes,
Okay, we had a motion. Did you get support? Comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion's carried. We have a hearing. Dave, you're up again.
This is for the final special assessment district for the sanitary laterals on Rosedale Street. Same rules apply as the project before on Richmond, so I'll try to move this along for everyone. But this is the final project that was done this year for construction. Sanitary sewer replacements, and I'll just go right through here. As with Richmond, the prices include the cost for the 8x6Y, each lineal foot of service pipe, and for each cleanout. And similar to what we had before, center of the street, so we anticipate 22 feet for these ones as well. So that was what was sent out. Anybody that could potentially be connected to the sanitary sewer on Rosedale is listed on here, with the idea if they're not, we can remove them. And here are the final numbers. These numbers, as you see, there's a few of them that fluctuate. There's an outlier down at the bottom, that one for 67 feet. That one is for 2 laterals. That one there's a lot, and they own the lot adjacent to it. That's a buildable lot, so we installed a sanitary sewer lateral on that one as well. There's also a drive approach with a water service line. The idea that if there's ever a house that's constructed there, they don't have to cut into the new road to connect for water or sanitary. So that's basically double the amount of pipe. So that's why you see that 67 foot there near the bottom. And the others, there was more footage that needed to be replaced just because of the condition of their existing laterals. So we had to go further than we thought.
Okay, what's the first question? None? Okay, nothing? Any members of the public have questions or comments?
This is probably a dumb question, but what's 8x6Y?
That's the connection to, I'll go back to it, excuse me. The 8x6Y is, there's a 6-inch sewer lateral that comes out. That's where the house's plumbing connects to when you flush your toilet sinks. That goes into the main. So that 6-inch pipe comes out almost level, but there's a little bit of slope on it. And then there's an 8x6Y, and that is for the 6-inch. And, excuse me, that's for, I'm sorry, the clean out. The 8x6Y is where it's connected to the main, I'm sorry. The clean out is, I had it wrong at first. The clean out is the pipe where there's a Y that comes up. That's an access point, so you can flush out the lateral if there's a block. The 8x6Y is where the 6-inch lateral connects to the 8-inch main.
Any additional questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
The motion support, last chance for comments or questions. Hearing none, all those in favor please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried, the hearing is closed. Thank you. Next, we will consider a resolution to approve the final special assessment district roll number 6 of 2024 for construction of sanitary sewer service leads on Rosedale Street.
Move to adopt with 5 years at 4.71% on balance due as of 6/1/26.
Support.
Okay, we have motion support. Last chance for comments or questions. Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you. Next, request for purchase. We are considering a resolution to approve a request for purchase to Fishbeck in the amount of $1,785,000 for engineering, design, and oversight services for the CWSRF wastewater treatment plant improvements.
Move to adopt.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Comments and questions? You want to
Yep.
give a-
Actually, we have a Fishbeck here to give a little bit of some insight to the commission and the community on what this phase will entail. Obviously, everyone looked at that number. It's a big number, but it's also oversight, not just design. So I'll turn it over to Fishbeck to kind of walk through what you can expect during this phase.
Is it the
Arrows,
keys up?
yeah, the arrow keys up and down.
Yep, down to go to the next.
All right. Welcome, everyone. I'm Andy Austin with Fishbeck, wastewater engineer. This is my colleague Brian. I'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah, I'm Brian Danzu with Fishbeck. You guys have met you all before, so thanks for having us.
So what we put together is a overview of the projects as part of the SRF project at the wastewater treatment plant, with some reasoning and the improvements for each one of the treatment systems. This first slide here is some deficiencies that were identified in the project plan and study that's previously been completed. First item is there's no grit removal system. That is what removes all the grit or incoming grit from the sewers before it goes into the wastewater treatment plant to keep your basins clean, any tanks. You don't want that grit running through pumps. There's been issues with the influent pumps, so all the incoming wastewater, there's two influent pumps that pump that up through the treatment system, and they've been having maintenance issues with those. We're out at the wastewater treatment plant today, and one of them is actually out for service right now, so I should be back in a few days. The headworks is located in the floodplain, which can be an issue. If you get a 100-year flood, you definitely don't want your headworks underwater. That is what pumps all the wastewater up through the plant. Next item, the biological treatment system is aeration tanks, and that is done with blowers. There's limited control on those blowers, so excess energy potentially could be being used. That could be with instrumentation, reduced energy consumption. Next item is secondary clarifiers are currently undersized for the current flow and loading parameters, and also current standards with the state, and there has been there's potential leaking from those clarifiers, which is a issue. Next item is there's no SCADA at the wastewater treatment plant, so the SCADA is monitoring via computer to monitor all the systems, to operate the systems, pumps, valves, blowers, and currently operators have to go out and do that. In addition, if there's an alarm or something that is not calling the operators out, which could be a potential issue. There's asbestos present in the laboratory. And then the polishing ponds, which is the final step before the chlorination or disinfection, there's potential leaking there. So those are deficiencies that have been identified at the treatment plant.
Can I ask a question before we get off this slide? Just for clarification, I've asked this question 17 times before and I still don't remember the answer. The ones that we're looking at there, the circular ones, those are the
Clarifiers.
Secondary clarifiers.
and the ones up above,
That's the aeration.
that's the aeration. Okay, thank you.
So these are proposed improvements, a new headworks, biological treatment, a secondary clarifiers, tertiary filtration, which would replace the polishing ponds, the SCADA, and new laboratory. And before I get off this slide,
Do you want me to point where these are at?
yeah, we can
Point to it.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
We don't have a pointer, so I'm gonna go over here and do it. So your first process in the plan is right here. This is the headworks building that we're talking about. And then it goes from the headworks, that has the pumps, and it pumps it up here to the aeration, which is your biological treatment process. And then it comes back down, these are the clarifiers. And then from the clarifiers, it goes down to these polishing ponds. And then back right here's your chlorine disinfection location, and then it goes out to the river from there. So these up here are old. They were abandoned lagoons back in '05.
So
Is
we
one of those
won't
working
have
now?
the ponds anymore after we do the upgrades, is that
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
the polishing ponds?
Yeah.
Polishing ponds.
And it'd be, I mean, you can see how large they're there. The tertiary filters are much smaller. I think we were looking at them before. They're 14 by 7 foot, so
Yeah.
much. You'll get the same treatment as what you were getting in that large pond.
But then it's contained?
Yep, it'd be in a building. Yep.
Will that be more efficient to operate that way, or is that going to be more higher cost to operate in that way, the filters versus the ponds?
It'd be more efficient. In speaking to the operators out at the plant, there's quite a bit of maintenance with the polishing pond in the summer, especially with the algae on top. They've got a bar screen that goes into the contact chamber. They got to keep that clean. And then they get, algae throughout. So it's quite a bit of maintenance in the summertime for the plant staff.
Extra sodium hypochlorite too to try to keep that duckweed down in there as
Duckweed,
well.
yeah. That's the
No
green you're
secondary
seeing in the
injection.
picture.
Okay.
And geese.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the first project is new headworks. And this would include a mechanical screen. That's what you see here in the picture. You'd have your influent channel, wastewater runs through there. Any debris, there's a 1/4-inch opening, any debris is caught, and the mechanical device pulls that debris up and discharges at ground level into a dumpster. And it actually goes through a compactor. That chute that you see going off to the right goes into that trash can, so that kind of dewaters any of that debris that is captured, so you don't have wet, sloppy debris. And then you're getting all that debris out before it enters the pumps or any other part of the wastewater system, treatment system, I should say. And you want to protect downstream systems, your pumps. You don't want debris floating in your tanks, because ultimately all the water is going to go through the wastewater treatment plant, and you don't want debris being discharged into the river. So,
Does it actually dump into a trash can like that?
Depends on the size.
yeah, the size.
Yeah, so this one here is smaller plant, it dumps into a trash can, but you'll see some get a roll-off dumpster.
Like a 2-yard dumpster.
Yeah.
So, next upgrade is the biological treatment. So that was the large rectangular tanks you saw on the north side of the road. As I mentioned, there's minimal instrumentation currently installed. So there's no readings that you can get from instruments such as a dissolved oxygen level that will control the blowers. You potentially could be over aerating those tanks, using more energy than you need to. And then with the instrumentation, you can improve treatment, providing the correct amount of air, and have data so the operators can look to see if they're over aerating or not. And ultimately, all that will lead to a energy savings there. The plant's currently, they've got one new blower installed. They're installing a second new blower. And those blowers were used as part of this project. We could neck controls to those blowers to be able to control the airflow to the basins. Taking over.
So, secondary clarifier tanks, these are to replace the ones that you saw in the picture down on the south end of the road there. Like was pointed out, those tanks are, they're old. They've deteriorated past their life. They're starting to leak. So new ones would be constructed up on the north end of the road there, over by the aeration tanks. They would improve the reliability and operations for the plant. They would remove a greater amount of debris. This would be a smaller amount of debris from the waste stream. And they would be constructed so that they're out of the floodplain. Right now, pretty much everything on the south side of the road there is below the floodplain. So your headworks, your contact tank is just at the elevation, and then these clarifiers. So in high rain events, all that stuff can flood, and then you can't treat any water. You're just discharging waste out in the river. So. Tertiary filtration, this would replace those polishing ponds. And those polishing ponds are quite old. They are constructed with a clay liner, and the clay liner is currently leaking in a couple spots. So it would replace this. Those polishing ponds, the structure would stay there, but they would be turned into a wetland to help with that floodplain issue. These tertiary filters, I won't go into the micron size, that's the amount of the size of the particle it removes. But they are very efficient. There's very little recycle flow that goes back to the plant. And they're very easy to use. Again, they would be connected into that SCADA system, so all of it's automated. During low flow at the plant, one will turn off, so you're only operating one at a time. So. And again, a very small footprint. And then the SCADA system that we've discussed, this is really a brain to the plant. It's a big computer system. It connects to all the pumps, the valves, any flow meters that are in there, and it will help automate the system. So if the flow goes low like that, it would turn off one filter, or it can turn off one blower, or ramp that blower up and down. And currently right now the plant operators have to kind of go out there and guess. If the flow is down, I'm turning this valve and trying to guess where I'm going to stop shutting it at, or they just leave it on full blast. So your efficiency is greatly improved with this. And then you get a whole bunch of trending, so you can sit there and see the trends of the plant and adjust chemicals and stuff as you need to. And then the alarm system. You currently have, I think it was 15 lift stations, pump stations out in the system, and those would all be connected into the SCADA system also, so that you can live monitor those. So if pumps in there quit, you'll get an alarm on the system and be able to go out there and correct it before it starts overflowing into the ground.
So if since we don't have anything like this now, do you provide training for the staff out there, or how do they learn, or have they been trained even though we don't have one? I guess I don't understand.
You've got it at the water plant.
Okay.
The same exact system was installed at the water plant. And then, yes, as it's going online, there'll be an integrator for the contractor.
Okay.
And they will, between them and us, will help teach them how to use all that.
Perfect.
So. The lab, as you guys know, it's been talked about a lot, that there's quite a bit of contaminated material in the lab, between asbestos and lead, and so the lab needs a complete upgrade on that. So you would get a new lab built. There's also the issue with, by code, the lab and the break room and everything have to be separate, and they aren't right now. So that would be separated. Plus, you only have one break room, locker room. This would build you two, so you've got that flexibility with hiring new staff. And this building would be connected to the headworks and the tertiary, so it'd be one building, just separated.
Is that
And then
also be on the north side, or is that gonna be on the
it
road?
would be on the south side, close to the road, is what it would be, so we move it up. And then everything would be constructed as ADA compliant. Right now, that, nothing is ADA compliant out there. And that would help improve with staff also that you could hire.
So it's still going to remain in the floodplain then?
No, because what we do is the new building, say the ground is down there and it's in the 100-year floodplain. We have to raise the floor of the building up above it. So you would have steps or a ramp for ADA or something like that and bring you up out of the floodplain. So the floor and all the components are up out of the floodplain. So,
So the current building is in the floodplain now, the floor level of it?
Yes.
So we're going to raise the floor at the current
the
level?
new one would be, a little bit, it would be raised, would be higher.
Are you just, we're eliminating the current building
We're
completely?
knock it down?
Are we?
I don't know.
That's what, yeah.
We're looking, evaluating that also. There is parts of that we would try to keep, because you just put in new chemical tanks and the dosing and all that is all in there. So that would probably remain, and we would demo and remove the parts that are no longer needed, so.
It's part
Well,
of this.
that looks a lot better than the current
Yeah.
situation out there.
That's part of the, the
Yeah.
design and
Right.
rebuild of it, and getting out of the floodplain is a major,
Yeah.
major, it's what we try to
Asbestos done and-
deal with folks when we have people
And
building
growing.
things, and
We
this is
want to
our
build
time.
something new and have it
No.
guaranteed flood, basically.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it sounds completely unappealing to have your break room in the lab all one. I mean, even if it wasn't a rule, it seems, I mean, that's,
What is the expected total cost of this whole bit?
That one.
No,
Now you're talking the construction
you're talking,
costs.
Construction and
it's
everything,
up about 30 million.
30 million.
So,
Like we discussed, last couple meetings, that are 25, or 2.5 million, or 20.5 million, I'm sorry, 24.5 million to the CWSRF. It's not going to cover everything that they're talking about here. So that's what we're looking at, some USDA.
Yeah.
But that's, when they're putting this together, these are the things that we have to fix now.
Correct.
And get done.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then build out our phases, here's what we can do next, and so on.
So, obviously, you're statewide.
yes, we're Michigan-based. You're talking our company?
Yeah, like, I'm just wondering how many situations are like this around the state?
Okay, so,
That's what I'm
yes, so Fishback is Michigan-based, but we are nationwide. We've got, 17 offices, over 700 people. In Michigan, we've ran across this subject. There was, most communities, their plants were built back in the 70s when the Clean Water Act was, put in place, and there was federal grants all over to improve plants. And most have not done much work since then. So right now with the Eagle grants, that's providing that opportunity now to go back through and do some upgrades. That grant is drying up, the Eagle funding and federal grants are drying up. So it's, we have this opportunity now, I guess.
Right. Okay, thank you.
And a lot of our funds for this one is low interest loan, and then some forgivable loan is what they call it. So just so
It's
people
a lot.
at the public just knows that this is not $20.5 million worth of grants. It's low interest loan, which we'll pay back with fees from the users, and then we still have to find some other funding sources to get the rest of it done. 'Cause it's 30 million. We only have 20. So,
Right.
but it's a huge step forward.
yeah, absolutely.
And the things that have to be fixed.
Right.
That they're mentioning
No,
here.
we definitely want to,
We have to take care of them.
yeah. Because I'm sure it'd be more than 30 million if something happened.
Was our plant originally built in the 70s, do we know?
No,
And I know we had it built in addition.
there was, I think the original plant was built in the mid-30s. And then I think there was was some improvements in the 50s.
50s, and the last time was the early 70s, as he mentioned, with the EPA, when the EPA was created in the late 60s and 60s, the last time it was updated was 71, 72.
Yeah.
That's when Arcata Township, Pine River Township came on. That's the last time I saw significant improvements.
2005 was the aeration.
The aeration basin is 2005, correct.
Anybody else have questions?
Thank you for all your information. It's very helpful.
Build on what I believe the manager was talking about, we're talking about funding. This design is all-inclusive for everything we talked about. If the commissioners are around, remember the goal setting from a few years ago, we talked about addressing everything. This design would solve everything that we need, and that's what this design is going to do, and that's what we've looked at because of this grant funding opportunity with the CWSRF and the loans. Talking with Fishback, there are communities, it's not uncommon that there could be extra money left over at the end of this cycle. So in March or April, those that were awarded grants or those that dropped out still in the late running, there could be more money that's available. So if there's more money that's available, we're going to ask for more money as long as we can afford it. We've had, I'll look at you now because we've talked about, I think we're at 25 different scenarios we've talked about with this one. We've had a few other ones, other projects, but anyhow, the first option is to see how much more money the state would have at the end of this design to find out how much we could get. And if there is not enough there, whatever we can't get, we've identified if we can either go out for bonds or through FDA to try to see what we can do to accomplish as much of this as possible. Because if most of what was talked about in here is not done, we're back in 5 to 10 years still having to do more of these. So trying to do as much as we can at once just because of, we talked about it before, economies of scale, doing it all at once. Construction costs are not going down. So the things that don't get done are still going to need to be done in the next 5 to 10 years after this. So trying to take as big a bite as we can with what we've got right now, with the idea that if there's more money available as a part of this, we're going to actively seek it out. So we'll be in touch with those as far as where this goes. When we put this out for bid, we're going to find out where the bids are at. If we need more money, we're going to ask for it. If not, we'll identify other funding options.
Thank you.
Thank you. I guess one thing I could add that we didn't touch on was the schedule. My SRF sets the schedule, which is the Eagle State Department. We have to have our plans completed, the design completed, and to the state for permitting by late March. And then in May, it will be on the street advertised. June, the bids should come in, and then we'll be bringing, a recommendation for, award to a contractor in mid-June. Construction could start fall of '26. So
It's quick.
yeah.
And we've already begun on the design preliminary and had survey out, Showtech scheduled for next week. Some of the Eagle requirements, we've done that for the historian, so, and we're moving forward with the design. So just because that timeline's so quick.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you,
your work.
Okay, I believe we have a motion before us on the table tonight. Is there any further comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you. Next, we have a resolution. We are to consider a resolution to ratify the investment of the city funds. For us tonight, we have one U.S. Treasury purchase, $282,000 at $338. Your pleasure.
Move to adopt.
Support. We have motion support. Comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you. Next, consideration of a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute the 2025 application for the certification of the community of Elma to be officially certified as a Tree City USA, having achieved the standards set forth by the Arbor Day Foundation.
Move to adopt.
Support.
A motion support. Comments or questions?
If this is approved, I believe it's our 40th year.
40th year?
So we'll have to do something special for that.
Okay.
40 new trees.
Yeah, cool. Anybody else have comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you. Agreements. We are to consider a resolution to extend the Elma Transit Building Expansion General Construction Contract with J.R. Heineman and Sons to June 30, 2026, and also to authorize the execution of the related documents.
Move to approve.
Support.
Motion support, comments, questions?
This is just an extension of our contract to build the expansion. It was coming due here in December. Instead of just trying to push it out to February, we decided to just do it through the end of our fiscal year. It'll be done before that, but we just figured just to cover ourselves with paperwork back and forth to MDOT. We just make it that date. That's why it's not going to be that long. I promise. But we just, yeah, I know. But it should be done in February. So, but we just want to put it that way. It's just covered. So.
Okay. Anybody have comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. That motion is carried. Next, consideration of a resolution to extend the Alma Transit Building Expansion Architectural Engineering Contract with Progressive AE to June 30, 2026. Also to authorize the execution of the related documents.
Move to approve.
Support.
Motion and support. Comments or questions?
Same reasoning.
Same thing?
Reasoning. Yep.
All right.
So we can get reimbursements from the state and just want to cover those time periods.
Makes sense. Okay, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you. Reports of officers, boards, and committees. Commissioners may receive the following reports by one resolution, or any commissioner may remove any item within the section for individual discussion and vote. Before us tonight, we have the December Board of Review minutes, the Downtown Development Authority December 16 draft meeting minutes, the Code Enforcement Report for November 2025, and the City Manager's Report. Your pleasure thereof.
Move to approve 1 through 3.
Support.
Okay, we have motion support. Last chance for comments and questions. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. 1, 2, 3 are received. Pleasure on number 4.
Move to approve city manager's newsletter.
Okay, motion support. Eric.
All right, so we're doing great on time, so I'll make sure we keep that going. The Michigan DNR Natural Resource Trust Fund, I'm happy to report that on Friday, we were sent an email saying that we did receive our funds for $340,400 to put toward our Riverside Park rebuild and refurbish. So that's really good news, and it looks like we can start incurring costs for design and that sort of thing in January. But we'll be back before that, before we start doing that with you, for signing off on an engineer to do such. So good news. Prospect Building update, our red building down on State Street Plaza. The phase 1, phase 2 has been done, and the bid documents have went together. They're down at the State Land Bank being reviewed right now. So we should be off the bid for the demo of that building and restoration out in January, and built or taken down before spring.
Question on that one.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on down there in Lansing. If that money hasn't been cut yet? Okay.
No, that was through the ARPA funds that's some of their final spending.
Okay.
Yep, that's us. Yep.
So it's likely to be there?
Yes. Yes. Yep.
It just makes me nervous.
Yep. We haven't been, notified by, State Land Bank, because they're reviewing our documents right now, saying, hey, folks, this is being pulled or anything like that. So.
But there's potential for that, right? I mean, we talked about that when we started this process.
Yep. Well, I guess anything could happen.
Yeah.
We've seen it, so.
Yeah.
But we have not been alerted to anything like that.
Good.
We haven't been alerted. The West Hoffman Road property, we received, Greg Grashit received the letter on Thursday from Quest Sites Solutions, who is the third party working with Michigan State Economic Development Corporation for the bronze, silver, and gold status for site readiness sites for industrial development. We have qualified for the bronze level of site readiness, which is good news. That helps us bump up on the radar across the country for development. There's a couple of things that we can probably do over the next year to bump us up to the silver rating that we'll be actively working with MEDC on, and Quest Site Services are solutions for that. This current designation for bronze is good through 2028. So I'd like to get that moving along, but those funds that were paid for this was through the MEDC, so there's nothing out of nothing out of Greater Gratiot or the city to do this. So it's that time of year we recognize employment anniversary dates, and this year we had 15 employees across 5 different departments receiving milestones from 5 years to 35 years. So we just like to, thank them and for their service. And 5 of those individuals are also part-time, so we recognize our part-time folks here as well. So, so thanks to all of them.
Glad we do that.
Yeah, thanks to all of them, and hopefully we can see them again in another 5 years. Because every 5 years we do that. So, and then lastly, speaking of the Alma Transit expansion, there's some updated photos that things continue to move forward. So like I said, I'm pretty confident we'll be done definitely before June, so February. So again, if you want to take a walk through there, if you haven't been through there, let us know, and Brett can get you a hard hat and take you through. So anytime you're interested in doing such. So.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you.
Okay, questions? Just one, you forgot about the fire truck.
Oh, yes, I didn't put this, because I didn't have it yet.
We want to talk about it.
Yeah, so I'm happy to report that as of 2 o'clock today, we received delivery of our new pumper truck with our fire department, fire district partners, Phil, Sumner, Pine River, and Arcata. The truck is a very much updated pump truck. With what we're excited about is the clean cab, and if you have, we'll be showing it off here and there. There's going to be some pictures up on Facebook. The clean cab is it's a self-enclosed control panel inside instead of the controls being on the outside, the outside on the inside, and cameras and everything that they can see everything from the inside without being outside. So tons of other technological upgrades that I don't know enough about. Just, that between the clean cab, the turning radius it's amazing how tight this truck can turn. And then just from a standpoint of the engine turning on, I asked a couple of the firefighters, I goes, this engine is quieter than some of our other trucks, right? And they go, no, it's a lot quieter than some of our trucks, and it's just a very nice piece of equipment that we can be proud of, and we got to show it off a little bit today. If the commission's interested, Mark Williams is here to kind of take you back if you'd like to take a look at it, and we'll be showing it off to the community as we go along too. So, but thanks to everyone here and our partners, because it takes some time to raise that, to save that money, because that's what happens every year. We put aside some dollars to buy these apparatuses, and we're talking with the mayor today that our next fire board meeting, we're probably going to have to talk about increasing that contribution to that fund every year, because trucks aren't getting less expensive.
Yeah.
So, but right now, though, we can be happy that we have this big,
You have a brand new
truck, and it's going to serve our community very well, and our volunteer firefighters too, that we're giving them the equipment they need to do their jobs.
Yeah,
So,
keep them safe.
Safely, yes, exactly. So thanks for that, yes. Thanks for reminding me.
Thank you.
To comment further on that, I was watching something recently about the making of fire trucks, and there is now only one major company left in the United States that does it by themselves, when there used to be 4. And as of right now, the wait time for a new fire truck is at the minimum of 4, but closer to 8 years.
We waited 2 years for this one.
Yeah.
Just over 2 years.
Just
yeah.
over 2 years.
Yep. Right, Mark?
Yikes. Yeah.
Okay, anybody else have comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. City manager's report is received. Next is appointments. We're to consider a resolution to appoint the city manager and mayor to the Greater Gratiot Development Incorporated Board of Directors.
Move to approve.
Support.
Okay, we have motion support. Is there any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Next, we are to consider a resolution to reappoint Roxanne Harrington to the Greater Gratiot Area Water Authority for a 2-year term expiring January 11, 2028.
To adopt.
Support.
Okay, we have motion support. Any comments or questions from anybody but Roxanne? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Congratulations, Roxanne.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
My
for
pleasure.
accepting.
My pleasure.
Appreciate you being willing to serve. Consideration of a resolution to appoint a public safety director and city manager as the alternative, or as the alternate to the Gratiot County Central Dispatch Authority.
Move to adopt.
Support.
The public safety director would be the main spot on the authority, and then the city manager would function just in case that the public safety director can't be there. So this was something new. We hadn't done this before, but we were contacted by the dispatch director and asked if we would make these appointments.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. Comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. We have adopted it. No unfinished or new business appropriations. Is there any interest in paying bills tonight?
Yes, please. I move to pay the appropriations.
Okay.
Support.
We have motion support. Are there any questions about the aforementioned bills? I hear none. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you. Commissioner comments. Roxanne, you want to lead us off tonight?
I can't think of anything. Happy holidays to everyone, and my apologies for being late and disruptive. And
Especially disruptive.
yeah, exactly. Oh, because I don't know.
Better late than never.
I'm trying to control that disruption part, but half an hour. Yeah, I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Roger?
I'm saddened to hear about the continuing downsizing of IAC, especially coming right at the heels of Alma Products a couple of weeks ago. So it's places we've got to look to fill. So, but happy holidays to everybody.
Thank you. Sonia? Michelle?
Just want to remind everybody that they're not alone during the holiday season. It's a very hard time for a lot of people, and there are services out there that can help. So people are not alone. And Merry Christmas.
Sarah?
Good.
Eric?
That's it. I'm good.
All right, certainly echo, the happy holidays that everyone else has expressed, and congratulations to that list of employees, 35 to then a bunch of 5 years. That's really speaks volumes, I think. It's good to have people sticking around, all that institutional knowledge. It becomes very important when things happen, so congratulations to all those people, and thank you to everyone for sticking around. We appreciate the staff doing that, so. With that, just happy holidays, and we'll entertain members of the public that would like to address the commission. Having seen very few and no one going towards the podium, I'll say one more time. Anybody want to? All right, I'm not seeing anybody move. I will entertain a motion to adjourn tonight.
So moved.
Support.
We got a motion to support. Last chance for comments or questions. Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. We're adjourned. Thank you and happy holidays.
Happy holiday.